Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner, place where we talk about anything and everything that is geek, whether it be TV, comics, movies, or video games. And give me 1 second. There we go. Make it a little bit better. Um, and as y'all know, have heard me on my past shows, railed against the New 52, how it's messed up everything in the DC universe as we know and love it. And like has done stuff like just changed the way the characters are, and have actually made characters vanish into thin air, or if they come back, they're not who they once were, and stuff like that. And another thing they have done, and today I want to discuss one more thing that they have done that has completely ruined DC Universe at large, and that is for some reason the DC for some reason they are against solely for some reason it seems like they are against marriage. I mean, think about all these. I mean, everybody knows the legend. Everybody that is a comics fan knows the Clark Kent Superman Lois Lane relationship slash marriage, and everybody that is a hardcore comic fan knows Barry Allen is married to Iris West, and also is all the other relationships that have been. There's so many relationships that have gone on in DC: boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, lover relationships that have gone in DC. The New 52 has ruined all that. Namely, biggest of all being Superman and Lois Lane. A 75-year relationship flushed down the drain because of this New 52 garbage. I mean, as everybody knows, almost every iteration has them getting married. Earth 2, notably, the Earth 2 version of them got married, but they died. But they passed away after being in a dimension for like 20 years. And in the events of Infinite Crisis, they died. And I know, spoiler alert, but, sorry about that. But like I said they got married. And in the 90s, Superman and Lois Lane, they got married. They got married and were married for up to like, I guess they about 20 years had been married. In the comics, had been Lois Lane Lois Lane and Superman and Lois Lane had been married, happily married. Then for some reason out of nowhere, when the New 52 started, they erased all that. Not only did they not have a thing for each other, they won't even marry. Not only were they not even married, they didn't even have a thing for each other. They didn't even like each other. They didn't even have romantic attachment to each other. And I mean, they had one dream where he married Lois Lane, and he didn't know why. I tell you why, because that's the real history coming into. That's regular history coming into trying to come back into alignment again. He's trying to resuscitate his memories or something. And like I said, another thing they ruined was in the New 52, Barry Allen and Iris are never married. How he forgot that, and when the events of Flashpoint happened, when he comes staggering back through and he got the armor and everything, I don't know how that happened, but how did he forget Iris like that? Somebody's blocking his memories or something. Either way, it's just they ruined that. He ain't married to Iris. Not only that, he never dated Iris, according to the history. According to this New 52 hit timeline, he never dated Iris. And another one, and everybody talks about equality in comics and everything. Well, I'm gonna say DC don't particular. Everybody that believes in equality, they should be mad at DC Comics because they don't necessarily agree with that. Everybody wants like equal, like gay couples in comics and everything. And well, DC don't. DC only believes in that up to a point, I think, because they made such a big deal about turning the New 52 about turning Alan Scott into a gay man. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, gay. They made such a big deal about turning him gay and showing him with his boyfriend and everything. And then by the end of the issue, dead. They did just long enough to get your attention, to get you to read the comic, and then they kill him off. What's with that? And then another thing, it made a lot of big hubbub over Twitter and a lot of other places, is that they were going to do a marriage between two lesbian characters. I think who was? Let me think. I think it was Batwoman. It was Kathy Kane, Batwoman, and Maggie Sawyer. They're going to do that, and all of a sudden, and DC was going along with it there for a while. And just about the time they got everything drawn up, ready, they got the pages drawn, the thing's already basically about done. Just about the time they got done, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they come up and say, "We don't want you to do that. We don't want to do that anymore. Scrap it." And as a result, the creative team, as a result of that, just walked off the project. They just walked off the comic. They did the writer and the artist. And who could blame them? I mean, if it had been it'd been the same thing. It'd been all the same if a straight couple was getting married. Like you say, they were going to marry a couple, a male and female hero. It would have been the same thing. You just all of a sudden they want it and then they don't want it. I mean, it's like DC don't want nobody to be married, even whether it be straight or gay, whatnot. Interspecies. It could be a human and an alien getting married. They wouldn't want that either. What's up with that? And when I say they don't believe, first I think they got vendetta against relationships too, because there's a lot of them been busted up. A lot of the ones in the old DC universe, they busted them up. I said they didn't even have them. I think it was something going on between Superboy and Wonder Girl, or even Robin and Wonder Girl. That ain't going on no more. That ain't even going on anymore. They ruined that too. And it seems like the only thing they want is sex. They don't give a rip about relationships. All they give a care about is sex. And my example, the very first issue of the New 52 Catwoman. About that very last issue, the very last pages of that issue, she got it on with Batman. That's what I'm talking about. I said and in the first few pages of the next issue, they already are in bed together. I'm sorry, but Batman don't do that. Neither does Catwoman, for that matter. He has never gave in to the dark side. The only time I ever remember Batman and Catwoman ever going that far, they got married, and it was that Catwoman reformed her ways, and they got married and had a child together. This is just them, and Batman, of all the years in the normal continuity, Batman has managed to resist her charms, sticking to his moral principles and not crossing to the dark side. New 52, it doesn't matter. Like in New 52, it doesn't matter. Everything, they always talk about the black and white areas, and then they talk about the gray area. The New 52 is the gray area. There are no black hats and there are no white hats. Everybody is gray area now. Anybody can do anything they want, except obviously have a meaningful relationship and get married. No matter what persuasion you are in the comics, you can't do either anymore with this New 52 garbage. But you can obviously hop in bed with anybody you want. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit non-fan. I know this is usually a family-friendly show, but I'm getting a little bit not family-friendly. I'm a little bit PG here. But like I said, it's obvious that you can, no matter what hero you are, you can jump in bed with anybody you want to, and that's fine. But if you want to have a relationship, no, they won't allow that. They won't allow that at DC. Seems like the only couple that I can think of that is still married, like they were in the like they were in the regular DC universe, the classic, real DC universe, is Aquaman and Mira. That's the only ones I know of that are still married and still the way they are, except for the fact that it seems like Aquaman's grown a backbone. Like I said, it seems like they are the only ones that don't. I said they're the only ones that have not changed as far as relationship status. They are still husband and wife and mother and father. That's the only thing that the New 52 ain't faced. The only one, as for Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Barry Allen, Iris West, anybody else, no. They don't want them married. They don't want them even dating. And when it comes to ones they were looking forward to their marriage, looking forward to the characters getting married and everything, they don't like that either. I don't know what DC problem is with relationships and marriage, but they need to change, as I've said before about the universe, they need to change everything back before they go under. Because DC's going down a very slippery slope. And I said, and ticking off your fans and acting like everything is like this is the greatest thing that's ever been done to DC, and alienating your longtime fans with mess they don't like, and mess that ain't supposed to be, and your business model, and you stand up there with a grin on your face, and you all know who I'm talking about here. Stand there with a grin on your face, talking about this is almost not like this is the greatest thing that has ever happened to DC Comics or comics, period. What is with that? How can you honestly stand up there and with a grin on your face saying this is the greatest thing we've ever done, and single-handedly sink one of the greatest comic companies there is with mess like you're doing now? How can you do that? It's obviously not a crime at Marvel Comics for folks to be married or be in a relationship. I mean, you got Reed and Sue Richards, who've been married for years. You've got all these. I mean, there have been plenty marriages that got broke up in Marvel. Peter and Mary Jane, Bruce Banner and Betty Ross. And I mean, there's been plenty of those that have gotten broken up, but never anything. I mean, those they only last a short amount of time, but they never broke up the relationship. I mean, in Spider-Man, maybe they did, but they slowly brought it back to the way it was. And I said the only thing like I said, Marvel's messed up in other ways, but I won't go into that because it don't relate to the subject. But there are folks getting to be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife over a mother and father in Marvel Comics. Why is it such a crime in DC all of a sudden? In DC, they can have, like I said, they can have characters hopping in bed, having sex with whoever they want to. That doesn't matter. Next thing you know, it's somebody else later problem. But I just don't. I said, to me, like I said, it boggles my mind. It makes me angry, and I just can't stand this. And I said, I know I gripe a lot about the New 52, but it's like I said, I'll keep saying it over and over again. I hate seeing something that I've loved reading my whole life. I've loved looking at my whole life. Ruined. Something I've really been a fan of since childhood, just ruined. And it just I said I've only become a hardcore geek within the last 10 years. I'll say that, 10 years. I mean, I've been a comic fan all my life, but I've been like a geek and really started knowing history within the past 10 years. And it makes me sick. It makes me angry to see a history that I've only just started reading about within the last 10 years suddenly thrown out the window and just ruined because of somebody and their somebody just because of one person and their weird Some person, one person, one maniac, trying to sink a company, trying to drive away the fan. They talk about. I know this kind of relates. This is this, but this is kind of relating to the subject, and yeah, it's not at the same time. There was a story come out within the past several months. A guy was wanting to do a book specifically for. I may have mentioned it before. He wanted to do a book specifically for all readers. The guy told I don't know if he said it was a publisher, the editor, or something. Told him, if you want to do a kids book, go do Scooby Doo. We make comic books for 45-year-old men. He said, we make comics for 45-year-old men. Nobody wants to read that. How did they know that? How did they know that? If anything, the 45 they claim they make that sound like they want to target comics just for 45-year-old guys. How do you know that the same 45-year-old guys ain't walking away from your junk? What makes you so sure that? What makes you sound like you speak for the fans when you say you make stuff for 45-year-old guys? I would almost be willing to bet money that if you talk to most 45-year-old guys that read comics, like a good majority of them, I'd say probably about between 50, I'd say probably between 60 and 90%. If you really talk to them about what they're doing at DC, they hate it. They quit reading it, all because of this crazy junk that they have done, this garbage in the New 52 that they have done to all the characters and everything. They make unreadable. The same 45-year-old guys they make the comics for ain't reading them. I think the only 45-year-old guys they're making it for is themselves, because they just want to mess up everything. And I said, to me, like I said, it explains why I said, to me, it would explain why there's a bunch of guys and just want to ruin it all for some reason. I don't know. It's like I don't understand. But like I said, it don't make any sense. Why in the world can't the characters be married or be dating at least? It's just one of the many reasons why I've quit reading the New 52. I don't like history. It seems too jumbled up. The characters are not. They're forcing something on the characters that shouldn't be there. Forcing looks upon them they shouldn't have, and forcing them to be something they ain't. And it just sickens me. And this is just one. And being like I say, anti-marriage, anti-relationship. Go do whoever you want to kind of mentality. Just don't do it for me. And don't do it for a lot of comic fans who are sitting around biding their time, hoping that DC will see the error in the ways and go back to the way they are. And hopefully they do, or else they'll end up going belly up. And to me, I don't want to see that happen. But what do y'all think? Do y'all agree with me, or what do y'all think on the subject? Drop me a comment. I would love to hear from y'all. Love to hear what y'all think on this subject, or any subject for that matter. Yes, I said just drop me a comment. I will really love to hear from you. And that's it for this week's edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner. As always, you have a comment about the show, drop me a comment in the comment box. Y'all have any ideas about something you want to hear me talk about? Drop me a comment. I would love to hear from you. I'm always looking for new ideas. Always looking for fresh things to talk about on the show. And so I would love to hear your ideas. Really would love to hear them. Always love to hear them. And I'll see y'all next time.